welcome back to another class of physical education. The last time we met, we would have spoken about the skeletal system. We would have touched on the functions of the skeletal system, right? So today we basically gonna look at the types of bones, right? So by chance, anyone could give me a type of bone? Anyone from here? On my right. All right, good try, good try. Anyone else? All right, yeah, good try. But anyway, that is not correct. The foot bone and the elbow bone, no, that's not what I'm actually speaking about. So today, basically, we have four types of bones in our body. And if you watch here, the skeletal system, it is actually made up of four types of bones, right? Number one, uh, we have the anybody ever hear heard about this bone? The long bone. All right. Now, most of our body are made up of the long bones. All right. So basically, if we should stand and if I should do like this, it simply means our limbs, in fact, we find most of the long bones. And if we watch at the diagram here, we will notice that the arms and the legs, these are where the long bones are found, right? So, by chance, anybody could give me an example of the long bone? Anyone? We could use the diagram if you're seeing properly, and you could actually give me an example. That is correct. And if you watch right here, we have the radius, right? So the radius is an example of a long bone. Anyone else? No, the pelvis is not an example of the long bone. Anyone else? I said the limbs, right? So it simply means you could watch at the limbs and you will actually see the various parts. All right, we're gonna come back to that just now, right? All right, so another type of bone we have is short bone. All right, just excuse the handwriting, but anyway, all right. So anybody could give me an example of the short bone, and where could we actually find the short bone?
In my finger.
Uh, in the fingers. All right. So basically, we could actually find the short bones in our wrists, right, and in our ankles. So if we should watch the diagram here again, could you give me one example of a short bone? Again, in the wrists and in the ankles. And if you watch carefully, that is correct. Carpals. The carpals is an example of a short bone. What about the what about another one? Yeah, you were seeing correctly here. If you watch here, we will see the tarsals. Basically, we know it as the ankle, the tarsals. So that is correct. All right, so we move on to the next type of bone, uh, which is number three, and that is flat bone. All right. So anyone here, could you give me an example of the flat bone, or where could we actually find the flat bone? Anyone?
In your ears.
Good try. Anyone else? All right. If you should watch very carefully here, right? From here to here, what is this called? This is called a sternum, right? Or we actually know it as the breastplate. And if we should just touch in the middle of our chest and we go straight down, That is the sternum, and that is an example of the flat bone, right? By chance, you have another example of the bone? Anyone? All right, that is correct. The cranium, right? The cranium is another example of the flat bone. So the last one we're gonna look at today, it's the irregular bone. Now, the irregular bone. Now, where actually we could find the irregular bone, and why do you think we call it the irregular bone? Anyone?
Because it's in shape normal.
All right, that is correct. Uh, of course, irregular. When we talking about irregular, it means it doesn't actually have a shape, right? To it. So it's so an example of this would be the spinal, the spinal cord. All right. So again, the last one, as I said before, is the irregular bone. So where could we actually find the irregular bone? Anybody? If we watch on the diagram here on the skeletal system using this chart, where could we actually say uh, is irregular? Watch properly, and if we watch at the spinal cord, or we call it the vertebrae, we notice at the back here, which is we call it everyone. If you feel straight down your spine, and we go straight down, we call it the coccyx, right? Straight down at the end here. Uh, so the entire vertebrae, it's basically irregular, right? So of course we know that they have different names straight up. So an example of it would be the coccyx, right? Or we call it the tailbone for most person who knows it. All right. So let's just recap quickly what we did today. So again, we would have talked about the types of bones, and anybody could give me just stand and tell me, give me one of the type, and then you're gonna give me an example of it. Right? All right, that is correct. Irregular, which is the last one, and yes, that is correct. The tailbone. And what's the correct name for it?
Coccyx.
All right, that is correct. All right. So, anyone else? For all right, you need somebody who didn't talk at yet as yet. So, all right, that is correct. Flat bone, and where could we actually find the flat bone?
On your foot.
Nope, that is wrong. Right? Again, anybody else? All right, yes, that is correct. The cranium. All right. We have two more. Quickly. Yeah, short bone, and we have it in the wrist, which is the what? What is it called? The carpals. Correct. We have the last one, which is the long bone, and we would have mentioned that an example of this is
Your foot.
wrong. Anybody else? But good try. All right. So yes, that is correct, which is the radius, and all right, so you're gonna just copy this and then you're gonna write it for homework. You guys gonna look at the joints for me. Just give me some examples, different types of joints. So next time we meet, we're gonna just go through that. All right, you're dismissed.